Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. It's Matt the Lumberjack Landlord. Super excited to be with you today. After a fantastic boot camp last night with my students, it was a blast. We went about 2.5 hours talking about projects, talking about insurance rates, talking about buying, talking about rehab, talking about kitchen design, talking about Section 8. We cover a lot of stuff in that boot camp, especially for 2.5 hours. But excited to be here with you guys today. The things I want to talk about today, where I really wanted to start off, was the 5 things I refuse to waste money on. I talked to hundreds, probably at this point, thousands of landlords. And one of the interesting things is I always, talk to them about their process and what they're doing and how they're doing it and what their experience is and all of that sort of stuff, right? And so what I find really interesting are some things that are kind of trending right now that I absolutely hate. And so I think what's really interesting is I kind of wanted to take you guys through them kind of best to worst, i.e. if it's number 5 on my list, it's a bad thing, but it's not as bad as the first thing on my list. So we'll start at the top. One of the things that I absolutely hate is appliance extended warranties. Absolutely hate them. It's wasted money. If you're buying a product that's going to fail in the first 3 to 5 years, that's a piece of garbage product. Why are people spending $150, $200, $250, right, on a $800 to $1,000 washer? If it's that bad and it breaks that often within those first few years, you're buying the wrong brand. This is why in my course, one of the segments literally is what products to buy. Guys, that's the point. I own 600 appliances. 600. I'm not in the appliance business. I shouldn't own 600, but I'm a landlord. And that means I own a ton of appliances. So I do my research. No, it's not Consumer Reports, but we have a whole process of how you evaluate appliances. We have a whole process that we talk about of here's brands to avoid. Here's brands that you want to do. The idea that, oh, this one's the best-selling brand, that means nothing. That means absolutely nothing. Take it from a guy who's worked in an industry where everybody's always looking for the niche and the saying that they can exploit. And this is where the Crash Bros get it wrong. It's actually true, but it's not true. It's true in a manner of speaking. But one of the things that we always hear about is these extended warranties. Again, 150, 200, 250 bucks. The numbers are absolutely insane. So the first thing that I would not waste my money on if I'm buying appliances, which I bought 600 of, is extended warranties. They're a complete and total waste of money. The other thing that you can recognize too is like with water heaters, they are more accurate. The guys who figure out how long something is going to last on water heaters, they are more accurate than anybody else. If the insurance business could ever be as good as those guys, and the insurance business is really good, but if the insurance business could be as good as those guys who figure out when water heaters expire, i.e. eight years and 2 months, they'd be the wealthiest companies in the world. So first thing is extended warranties. For me, that's a no. As always, you make your own decision. The next thing on my list is lawn care. Many people hire services. And when they hire these services, those are expensive services. Maybe you're getting a great price, maybe you're not, who knows? But the first thing you should be doing is, like I talk about, getting 3 quotes. I always get 3 quotes. And then I make sure that I'm telling people how big my account is. This is how many units I have. This is how many lawns you need to do. But I also have pictures of my lawns. This is one of the other things that I talk about in my course, how to document your units. If you know how to document your units, you're not redoing this work every single time you're trying to find a new vendor. Little smart, right? A little bit. But that's where we cover that in the course. So when it comes to lawn care, I can hire, because guess what? You can find an 18 to 22-year-old college student that would be more than happy to do your lawns. And the only thing that you need to require them to do in my world is I make sure that they have insurance. That's it. I make sure that they have insurance. That's what I want to see. I want to see that they have some sort of insurance that covers them, and if something breaks or needs to be taken care of. Now we've had a rock go through a window. Such is life. It happened. We paid a couple $100 for it, but I'm not going to pay $60 a lawn for a small little patch of grass when I can pay $22 it pays for itself in one weekend. So I don't spend a ton of money on lawn care. I don't, but I do want to make sure it's done. I do want to make sure it's done to quality. And when you find that person, they're thrilled, because for most of you, it's going to be a half a day's of work, maybe even just a day's worth of work. But if it's that little, that's something a college kid can do on the weekend, and they can make a lot more money doing that than they can doing other stuff, right? We used to pay basically $250 for the patch of lawns that we had. It came out to about 25 bucks an hour. 18, 19-year-olds aren't making 25 bucks an hour, especially there's plenty of them that want to be outside, that are like, yeah, sure. So I get to be outside and hang out and do that sort of stuff outside. Yeah, that's kind of cool. I dig it. That's cool. So lawn care is not something where I have a $30,000, $40,000 lawn bill at the end of the year. It's in perspective. And it's most importantly it's a low cost item for me. On snow plowing, I have to pay that because there's a lot more liability there. But on lawn care, no, I'm not wasting a bunch of money on lawn care because, this guy thinks that he's that much better of a lawn guy than some 18 to 22-year-old kid. Not going to spend that money. Next thing on the list in the top 5, and this is in order. The next thing is style to my taste. This gets a lot of you. A lot of you new landlords are out there and you're like, no, but I want it to be amazing. Okay. Yeah, I get it. I do too. But I'm not styling it to my taste. One of the things, one of the common mistakes that we see with new landlords is they style a unit to their taste. I used to see landlords that would say, well, I want it to be, an amazing place and really give a different feel in every room and really make it unique. Dudes, it's not a bed and breakfast. That's not what this thing is. It's not a bed and breakfast. And so the key to it not being a bed and breakfast is that you're not curating an experience in every room. You're curating an overall experience in the unit. That's where you can go with a great palette. Some people, like Mike Zuber, one rental at a time. What did he do? He actually paid a designer to come up with a template, and that's what they went with. Me, I designed my own because I'm that good at it. That's something I offer in the course. I tell you all the paint colors we use. I tell you the products that we use. I tell you how we use them. I tell you timing on the projects. We cover all that stuff in my course. So, and I won't go into it here because it's literally an entire module, which would take about 45 minutes to teach. That's why it's in the course. So the idea is that when you're doing your style, when you're curating the experience, it's not about you. It's not about you. People are like, oh, I walked into this apartment a week and a half ago. And they're just like, oh yeah, it's really cool because we call this room, we call this room the purple room, and this room is the red room, and this room is the blue room. Okay, why? Well, we just thought it was kind of cool. Okay. The paint jobs are a fortune in those colors. You spent 2 gallons times 40 bucks, 50 bucks a gallon to paint this room purple. You realize what a huge pain in the ass it's going to be to change that color? Because it's a dark purple, like Barney purple. Like it's or plum purple. It's kind of between Barney and plum. Guys, this is not what we're doing. We're there to curate an experience, but we're not there to become the next best known international designer. It's not what we're there for. So when you spend that money styling to your own feelings and likes and dislikes, no. The other mistake that people make is, what else they look at? They look at design magazines. Sweet Lord, stop now. Don't do it. Listen, in some of these super high-end places, right? Do you really think that an apartment where I do business should look anything like an apartment on the water in Miami? No. Ever. Never, ever. And this is a mistake that people make, is that some of them are, I'm going to curate this amazing experience, but it's in every single room and it's like a bed and breakfast. And I'm going to spend an absolute fortune in paint colors. Do you realize how difficult it is after that tenant leaves to touch that place up? You will spend twice as much money on your painter doing things that way. Major, major waste. Have a template, have it consistent, work within that template. It will absolutely blow your doors off. It'll be absolutely awesome in keeping your costs low and curating a great experience. All right, then the next thing with that is on the other side, on the designer side, again, do you think gold handles and blue doors and, oh my word, no, absolutely not. That is not the way to do this and actually make any money. No, we are not here to win design awards. We are here to curate an amazing experience for our tenants. And guess what? In 5 years, it looks dated and everybody can go, yeah, that was the trend in 17, 18, 19. Do you know how long I've been doing my color template? 15 years. My color template has been the same exact thing for 15 years. And you know what people always say? I love it. We had somebody yesterday saying, oh, I saw this unit. I thought it was yours. I love it. I love it. Your colors are perfect because I can always just add my splash of color. Absolutely. A different color couch, a different color chair, throw pillows, whatever it is, a painting on the wall. All of those things, we give them a canvas that allows them to add their own personality to it. This is a mistake that many landlords make in a place, again, I will not spend my money trying to be the next best designer of apartments. Next thing on the list, this one's near and dear to my heart. Far too many people are wasting time. And honestly, the message boards, guys, admittedly, you guys know me well enough. I'll be honest with you. I just can't cut it any other way. These message boards, this is why I hate social media. These message boards, I'm glad, the number of people that take advice from people that have no effing clue blows my mind. But that's why the Crash Bro channels are like 20 times larger than mine, or even 50 times larger than mine. Because we're all here doing work. We're all here making money. We're all here figuring out the next thing. We're not on there getting our ears tickled. Oh yeah, it's horrible. Nope, we're not like that. Nope, I'm pretty sure that just became a meme. But we're not like that. We're here doing work. And so as we look at these scenarios where we are doing this work, right? Honestly, like the thing that this one is landlord insurance. The purpose of landlord insurance isn't insurance. It's basically insurance against you being a bad landlord. That's really what it is in my eyes. This is the tenant moves out, does a bunch of damage. And so you want insurance to cover your bad rent and the tenant, and the repairs for when that tenant leaves. What are you, nuts? I have a better idea. Take my course and get a whole lot better at picking good tenants that don't trash your place. Listen, if they made a product around it, I can promise you they're making a ton of money off of it. They are making a ton of money off of landlord insurance. Now, I would never, in a million years, buy landlord insurance. I wouldn't. Why? Because I'm bad at picking tenants? Because they're going to trash the place? Because I'm worried that they're not going to pay rent? Like, guys, that level of insurance is insanity. Do the numbers. If you're making 6, 7, 8% on your property, you're losing money now. Between landlord insurance and then adding in a PM, I don't understand how you guys evaluate single family deals and don't lose money on almost all of them. And when taxes and insurance rates and things like that start changing in the next 2 years, guys, those single family assets, a lot of them are going to be in trouble. Thankfully, you have 30-year fixed rate debt. But if the economy goes soft and rent's flat, and you're not seeing a 5 to 7 or 9% increase like most people were modeling, those are the people that are going to be in the deepest trouble. But if you're on top of that paying for landlord insurance, guys, I promise you, the people that are buying that insurance are ones that haven't taken a course like mine to understand how to select a tenant properly. And so what are they doing? They're basically putting a Band-Aid on a future wound. That's what you're doing. Use insurance. This is how I use insurance. How I use insurance is to not legislate and block out the sun and anything that can possibly happen. I use it for catastrophic events. If a tornado happens, if an earthquake happens, if a hailstorm happens, if there's a slip and fall, if there's some major thing that occurs like that, then yeah, I've got insurance, and I've got really good insurance, and I've got an umbrella on top of that. So if I have all of those things, why is it that I need to legislate out the opportunity or the possibility that I'm bad at selecting tenants? If you consistently put that policy on every single one, there's no way I see how you make money. I don't get it. I haven't said solar yet, Corby. I just saw it out of the corner of my eye. And solar is close. Solar wasn't in the top 5. It was like literally like 6 or 7. These other things are smaller numbers. And so these are the things that I think people are more likely to do. Solar is a massive, massive investment. So that's a fantastic catch there, Corby. And then lastly, this is the one. Oh, this is the one that just gets my goat every single time. I don't want to be like the guy that I hate hustle porn. I hate it. Hate it. So I don't want to post this, but I really feel like I need to. What my day looks like. I hate hustle porn. I hate it more than anything because I'm not about talking about what I do. I'm about or what I'm planning to do. I talk about what I've done, and that's it. And I'm not talking about what my process is in a lot of cases. That's a lot of the questions I get in boot camp, and I'm happy to share with those folks because I leave, there's nothing left to the imagination in the boot camp. But what I can tell you is the biggest mistake that most landlords make is paying retail. It's paying retail. I'm not sure you guys are ready to hear this. I really am not. If you're paying retail, I feel bad with it even coming out of my mouth. You're lazy. You're lazy. And maybe that's the goal, Dion. Maybe that's the goal. But even Dion gets 3 quotes. Even Dion looks at the price of the things that they're putting in, whether it's windows or cabinets. He still looks at those things. So I got him being at least a little bit less lazy, at least a little bit. And so this is the thing. These are the things that we need to look at. When you're looking at buying something for retail, listen, if you've already opened up an LLC, you should be, or a trust, either one of those. Guys, do you know why an EIN is the same number of digits as your SS? Same number of digits, I think. Pretty sure. Yeah. Yeah. Open up accounts. Open up an account with a lumberyard. Open up an account with the big box stores. Open up an account with an appliance place. And you can tell them you're not looking for credit. You're looking to have a cash account, but you want to get a contractor account with them because you do property management. Even if you don't do third-party property management, that's okay. You can do property management just your own, but have it in a local yard. And then take advantage of that pricing. You should not be paying contractors to carry your debt. They don't want to carry your debt. That's how they got burned. That's how they get burned consistently by different companies. Is the company might pay them the check eventually, for the materials that they bought, but then they're chasing them down for the labor money. There's nothing more stressful than owning your own small business and chasing people for money. That's how most small businesses go out of business. They're chasing people for money for the service that was rendered. So if you put yourself in a position to really be an operator, like I teach in my course, really be an operator, then what are you doing? Quite frankly, you're not doing any of these things. You're not doing appliance extended warranties. You're being a good operator and finding a less expensive way to take care of mundane things like lawn care. You are not styling to your own taste because you recognize not only on the front end is that more expensive and time consuming, but on the backside, more expensive, also more time consuming. You're not getting landlord insurance contracts because you have a skill on how to select good tenants. And if your PM doesn't have it, fire them. Fire them. True story. One of the biggest mistakes, I'm an executive, one of the biggest things executives, factually speaking, for a company, one of the biggest mistakes that executives make is not hiring fast. They take too long to hire great people, number one. And number two, firing faster. Hiring fast and firing faster. Fire faster. Don't be ashamed that you went through 3 PMs in 9 months. Don't be ashamed. Tell them, I want to work with you. I want to give you a 6-month period. I want to see how that works. I want to see what it's like to work with you. And if it's awesome, awesome. If it's not, bye. And I'm not signing a contract. And if they don't want to take that, then they need you to sign that contract because they might not be very good at what they do. Just that simple. Just that simple. So often, these are the mistakes that people make. And then the biggest one, like I said, is people paying retail. Drives me absolutely bonkers, people paying retail. Do you know that I went, so Home Depot, we'll use their name because I'm being kind here. They have a concept of something called a bid room. You have to be signed up as a contractor. Sure. Yep. But they have the concept of a bid room. If you need to go do a project, now you can't do it for every little thing, but this is what will help better organize you. So you're getting better pricing on the things that you know that you're going to need. You need to get more organized. That's what my course teaches. Getting more organized in how you're doing projects. If you're getting more organized in how you're doing these projects, you can save money on not only the amount of time it takes the project to get done, but also in having all the materials that you need when you need them, so your contractors are never waiting for materials. This is a major mistake that gets made. Major. We made the mistake of not ordering doors on a project because we were like, we can get those in 5 to 7 days. No big deal. We'll order them the week before. Guess what? The factory had a shutdown. They had some problem with some of their major machines, and those doors were now 3 weeks out. Guess what I had to do? I had to waste an entire month's worth of rent waiting for doors. Pissed me off. And it was something that was 100% avoidable. I promise you, conversations were had. But that's the kind of stuff that chaps my ass because that was a completely avoidable mistake. Now, when we go through the project, we create the project plan, we're taking a lot of our measurements. We know how much base we need, how much trim we need, how many doors we need, the style doors. Again, that's a template. So we already know we're just getting the sizes of them. But these are the types of things when you're not having to pay retail, you don't pay retail. Do not pay retail. You can put them in the Home Depot bid room as an example. We were doing a major electrical upgrade. We shopped around 3 or 4 different places. We shopped both big box stores and then a couple of smaller electrical outfits. We went through that process with them and we saw all the numbers. And we said, oh, okay. And then we asked them, that's the volume. We always share with them the volume number. But we said, is there any work on price? Someone gave us a 3%. Someone gave us a 4%. We went into the bid room. We got 21% off a majority of the things that we were ordering. 21% off. Guys, 21%. That's straight to the bottom line. That wasn't a $50,000 project either. That was like I think it was about a $3,000 project, 3 or 4,000. What we were doing, 3 or 4 grand, 20% off. A penny saved is a penny earned. That's $600 to $800 I saved by being a better consumer. Now, tell me the course for $1,000 isn't worth it. That's one order, one project, one time. Guys, this is why people that are taking the course are like, it's the best investment I've ever made. I teach you how to buy. I teach you what to buy. I teach you how to go out and buy it. This is the stuff that you guys need to become elite. There is no doubt in my mind. If you're already doing all of the things I just mentioned, then my course will probably not help you in that area. It'll probably help you in advertising. It'll help you in how to talk to code enforcement. But this is the stuff that makes me so passionate. There are a ton of courses out there on how to buy real estate. I have certain favorites and I have others that I don't like at all because I've seen and talked to a lot of the creators of them. But I can tell you, managing your assets, how to grow your business, and how to properly become an operator on the daily, so then you can have a bunch of your life back and get a bunch of value add after you've done a project. This is how it's done, guys. This is how you get from living paycheck to paycheck, just like I was. I almost went bankrupt 3 times. 3 times, but I figured out the process and I figured out how it worked. And that's what we talk about in our course. So hopefully that was helpful to you guys. I know I get really amped up about this stuff. Ooh, I get really amped up about this stuff. Course boot camp was awesome last night. I always have so much fun with that. And literally because I go for 2.5 hours on that, but all the conversations and all the different situations. We had somebody new in the class last night. Shout out to you. It was great to have you. We had somebody new in the class last night and I said, hey, was last night helpful? I really, truly want to know. Responds back. He goes, oh my word. He goes, the amount of stuff that you guys covered and to the depth that you covered it was amazing. He goes, that was awesome. He goes, I'm so glad I did this. Love that. Love that. Love having you there.